Hello and welcome back to Seahawk Central Sports. This week we have an exciting episode where we'll talk about swim and dive, tennis, and volleyball. Then we get to hear from Gabe Mercer from men's soccer. So let's kick things off with Taylor.
Thanks, Davis. The UNCW men's swim team was able to rally past the South Carolina Gamecocks this past weekend. William Carrigo helped UNCW pull through, winning the 400 IM and the 200-meter freestyle relay. The Seahawks finished up the weekend with a final score of 158 to 142. This coming weekend, the Seahawks will battle it out with the Tennessee Volunteers on Friday, October 6th at home and Saturday, October 7th in Wrightsville Beach for an open water competition. Good luck, swim and dive. Now on to Christian with tennis.
Thanks, Taylor. Heading into tennis this season, our men's Seahawks made its fall debut at Porter's Neck Country Club as they went up against Vanderbilt, Georgia State, Georgia Tech, and Clemson. They ended the game strong, winning 7 matches out of the 9 played. Some of the top matches won during that weekend was Reese Falk defeating Georgia Tech with a score of 7-5 and 6-3. Jonathan Barron beating Georgia State 7-5 and 6-1. But overall, the entire team stood strong, so make sure to check out their next games as they return to the action on October 20th to the 24th at the ICA Fall Regional in Cary, North Carolina. Next to Alexa covering volleyball.
Thank you, Christian. Volleyball played Campbell this past week. The Seahawks won an intense game 3-2 this past Saturday, but fell short on a 1-3 loss Sunday. A special shout out to Katie Lance for collecting 30 digs and 37 kills this weekend, as well as to Caitlin Callahan for adding 14 kills and a hit .458. Please join us next week in cheering them on against the College of Charleston, October 7th and 8th at 1 p.m. Now on to Grace for our interview with Gabe Mercer.
Thanks, Alexa. Today I'm here with soccer player Gabe Mercer, and we are so excited to have him here today, so welcome. And to start off, what stuck out to our soccer program on your visit here?
Yeah, it's a good question. I always lived in North Carolina, so I kind of knew I wanted to stay in-house. And Wilmington's perfect because it's right by the beach, and the soccer program's really good. So for me, it was kind of a no-brainer.
Sounds awesome. So as a follow-up, what made you choose UNCW for your soccer career, like kind of as a follow-up?
Yeah, so like I talked about, the program was doing really well, and I noticed that when I was in high school. Also, when I came on my visit, the guys were super nice and just welcoming, and you don't really get that a lot when you go to different programs. It's kind of like cutthroat, and so I knew that something I would value is my teammates and not just the success on the soccer field, and so that's really what drew me to the school. Absolutely.
Does your team have any goals for the rest of the season? Do you have any personal goals that you'd like to achieve this year?
Yeah, so as a team, we always talk about winning the CAA. Mm-hmm. So we've obviously played a couple CAA games at this point. Looking at the table, it might be tough for us to win the regular season, but we're going to obviously do the best that we can. Yes. And we always have the tournament to look forward to. So absolutely. You know how tournaments go. We could always make it to the final there. So I guess that would be our goal as a team. Personally, I don't like to set a lot of goals, but I guess one would be to try to get a CAA award because last season I got 3rd team CAA, so I would love to improve on that this season.
That's great. So who would you say is your biggest soccer role model and why?
I would have to say Messi. He's the best player to ever play. What he does is just unbelievable. Anyone that knows soccer knows that he's the best player. Yeah, I would just say Messi. It has to be Messi.
All right. Do you have any pregame rituals? Does your team have one as a whole?
I'm a very superstitious person, so I'll save you all the time, but I'll just tell you one. I write 80 on my left wrist. I'm left-footed, so I just keep everything on that side, but that was Ronaldinho's number, which is a Brazilian soccer player, and he was always known to play with a smile on his face, and so sometimes I have a little bit too serious demeanor when I'm playing. Mm-hmm. So that's just a reminder to just stay loose and stay in the game and enjoy it.
Absolutely. So lastly, what has been your favorite game that you have played while you've been at UNCW?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was my sophomore year, but we played Hofstra in a CAA tournament game at Drexel, and I didn't start that game, and we ended up going down 3-0 early. They jumped on us. And I remember saying to myself, if I got onto the field, I was going to make a difference. And I just had this belief in myself. And so I ended up getting the opportunity to go onto the field. And I got 2 assists pretty quickly and ended up getting placed on the CAA all-tournament team.
Awesome.
So for being a young player like that and then getting that recognition was pretty powerful. So definitely a game that I'll remember.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for coming to join us. So now let's head back to Davis.
Thanks, Grace. And thanks again to Gabe and the soccer team for that interview. This weekend, we've got some great games, so make sure to support all of our Seahawks and join us next week for another fun episode. We'll see you then.